Hello, I'm Nathan.
And I'm Amy. Welcome to UK MMA Weekly.
The only show in the UK to give you exclusive news, views, interviews, demonstrations, debates and analysis.
In today's show we have exclusive news, a demonstration from Danny Petts, predictions and debates with our special guests Danny Petts and Ali Stafford.
Well, with an action-packed show like that, we better get started. Welcome to the news. Well, there's a lot going on in the news at the moment with the popularity of mixed martial arts on the rise in the UK. A subject that has recently sparked a lot of interest is the safety in the ring of MMA fighters. Safe MMA are continuing to make changes based on results from medical professionals and doctors' concerns after a meeting that took place on the 10th of April. Safe MMA has addressed the following areas: Safe MMA medical examinations to take place before and after each match. These changes are based on feedback from cage-side doctors to improve efficiency and, of course, the safety of MMA fighters. Other areas that were addressed are qualifications from the medical care professionals, a safe MMA doctors training day, suspensions, fighter records and data protection. Safe MMA are continuing to make changes to improve the needs of fighters and the care that they are given before and after each match. In other big news, the UK's very own Michael Bisping is fighting Alan Belcher in the UFC 159, a middleweight match that will take place tomorrow in New Jersey. We wish him the very best of luck. UK UFC fans will be very pleased to hear that UFC are planning on returning to the UK in October. Where I hear, you ask? Well, I'm delighted to tell you that Liverpool's Echo Arena is looking extremely likely to be the venue for the UK UFC show. This will hopefully take place on October the 15th, so keep the date free in your diaries. There have been more promises of more shows annually in the UK, with popularity always on the rise. Liverpool's Echo Arena is looking like the next venue with a capacity of 11,000, and there is no doubting it will be a sellout show. Jack McGann versus Luke Harrison took place last weekend and premiered the HMV Ritz Manchester's mixed martial arts promotion Ultimate Cage Fighting Championships held their 14th instalment. The fight was a lightweight professional fight and was McGann's second, following debut back in September. He was looking for his fight to be a similar victory, however Luke Harrison had very different ideas. In other news, Dave Jackson is set to take part in this year's coming UK MMA Expo. It's a two-day expedition at the Event City in Manchester. Some of the UK's biggest names are expected to be there, and we have also been told that the world-renowned coach will be doing a seminar at the Expo. So book your tickets quick. The seminar will be an hour long and tickets are £25, which includes a full day entry pass worth £10. For tickets, go to www.ukmmaexpo.co.uk. The Expo takes place on the 20th and 21st of July, coming to you from Event City, Trafford Centre, Manchester. Coming up next in today's show, we have a debate with the help of our special guest Danny Petts and Ali Stafford.
Thanks Nathan. Looks like we'll be seeing some exciting changes in the MMA league very soon. Can't wait to see if Michael wins his fight. But now it's time for what you've all been waiting for. After last week's show, over 5,000 of you tweeted in and decided our next hot debate. So without further ado, our debate is this week, women in MMA. So guys, there's been a lot of stick in the press recently about women competing in MMA, even though we've seen a massive 17% increase in women competing in the sport over the past 4 years. So what are your personal thoughts and opinion of women competing in MMA?
Well, I don't see a problem in it really. I mean, sportsmen are sportsmen either way, so if they want to compete in the MMA, it's just the same as men competing, so it doesn't make a difference to me.
Exactly, it doesn't make a difference what gender you are. If you're good at a particular sport, then you've got to participate and try and increase the levels and get more people involved.
Right, great.
Another topic which has recently sparked public interest is the press release from Ronda Rousey about the transgender fighter Fallon Fox. Rousey's openly stated her thoughts and opinions on the matter during a live interview, and here's what she had to say. I don't think you should be able to compete as a woman, just the bone density and bone structure. You've gone through puberty as a man, it's just an advantage over a woman.
So would you agree with Rousey's statement, and do you think it's unfair for transgender players to compete in the Women's League?
It's difficult because you don't want to discriminate against transgender people, but at the end of the day, you look at the image of Fox there, she's clearly physically stronger than most women are going to be, and that's going to be from being a man for 30 years.
She's at a genetic advantage from, like I say, being a man for 30 years. It's just not right, really, to be competing in the same league, I wouldn't say.
Do you think it's fair, equal, for transgender players to compete in the men's league as well?
I think it works both ways, because if anything, the other way around, it's at a disadvantage for the fighters. So I think it just needs to stay to the same-sex leagues, you know.
On another note, mothers competing in MMA are often stereotyped and unaccepted because people feel that they seduce and encourage violence to children in a negative way over men competing in the sport. Do you think it's wrong for mothers? To compete in the sport, and why do you think there is a substantial difference between MMA women and MMA men's influences on children?
I couldn't say it makes a difference, really. Like you said, it's a stereotype, which is frowned upon in this instance. So I think whether you're a mother or a father, either way, you've got children. They're going to look up to you. If it's something you want to do, it is a profession. So as a professional, you should be allowed to do that, I think.
Exactly. It's a career for a mother at the end of the day. If they're good enough, it makes no difference whether they've got children or not. If anything, it shows they're committed and dedicated, and it's a good role model for the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't consider it to be wrong? Do you think children would act on it in a negative way?
It just depends, like, as the parents themselves, what they want to promote with it. You know, like I say, if they go about it in a professional sense and they show it as a profession instead of just as a means of violence, then I think it's a positive way. Yeah.
Right.
So really, just promote the positive side of it all.
Yeah. Just don't say it's just the sake of hitting people for the sake of it. It's a profession, so keep it like that. Yeah.
Great. And finally, what changes would you like to see for women competing in MMA?
I think the first thing's got to be the media coverage. There's so many great female MMA competitors, and they're not getting the media coverage they deserve. Yes, there's some of the bouts and some of the fights being shown on telly, but if you get more of those on the screen, then you'll get more people interested in the sport.
Yeah, it's all about promotion. Yeah.
Right, great.
Right. Well, thank you both for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the debate, and remember, those of you watching at home can tweet us at #UK MMA Weekly to submit your next debate topic ideas.
So next up on today's show is an exclusive insight into the world of MMA, as our team visited a local up-and-coming club in the heart of Lancashire. Here's what they got up to.
Hi, I'm here with Rob Friedman from the Predators Gym here in Blackburn. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
So how long have you had this particular gym for?
This particular gym I've had just after Christmas we moved in here. We had a different place down the road, but I've been coaching now for about 3 or 4 years now, various different places. So.
Is it just mixed martial arts you do here, or have you got other types of combat?
No, we've got a boxing coach, Sean Litherland, who also coaches out here, and he teaches Thai as well. So we have quite a decent broad range of different martial arts, really.
So how did you get into the mixed martial arts world?
Well, I've boxed since being a kid, really, and then obviously seeing it on TV and that, and thought, well, yeah, this is what I want to do. So I sort of searched around a few different clubs. Had to travel quite a long way at first because there wasn't that much in this area at all. So I eventually found a good club in Manchester, which is Manchester Predators, and then it kind of went from there, really.
So what's the MMA scene like in the country as a whole at the minute? Is it thriving or?
Yeah, I mean, it's just going from strength to strength. I think, well, since I've known it, I think I've been involved now for I don't know, 9 years or something, but now, I mean, the popularity just seems to be going through the roof.
Yeah, why do you think that is? Because of the TV and stuff? Or?
Yeah, I mean, as a sport itself, I think it's a very exciting sport. I think that's the main thing, its selling point. I think the UFC, the way it's marketed, I think is fantastic. It just basically is, you know, the best fighters fight the best fighters.
Like MMA has this, well, from what I know, it's like it's just brutal, which I'm sure it's not, because I've sat in on one of your training sessions today and it's just technique. Is that more important, would you say?
It's massively important. I mean, I can't, you know, underestimate it. You know, just telling you how important the technique is. We try to drill a lot of technique, and if you don't have it, you know, you're not going to do well at all. It's such a big part of our game, really.
Yeah, the fitness levels of the boys that I've seen tonight is like the people come for the fitness aspect of things. Like you've been going non-stop for 2 hours tonight since I've been sat here. So is it, or do people come for fight or fitness? Or?
No, we get all sorts. You get guys that come just to stay in shape, guys that want to learn to become you know, mixed martial arts fighters and things like that. But we get all generally, you know, self-defence, anything.
Yeah, good. Is there any professional fighters in your club then, or is there any ones that you've got your eye on for the future?
I mean, there's a couple of lads, they're ready to go, you know. They're only young lads, they're only 18, so I am sort of holding them back a little bit at the moment.
Are you trying to get more into the community and get other people involved? Or
yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to start a youth project as we speak, really, sort of trying to offer some free training, trying to get underprivileged kids to try and get involved in the sport.
So is there anybody you've done that for? Or
yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of no pays. These are no pays there. Do you know what I mean? You know, I tell them if they make it, what do you have to do, guys? What do you owe me if you make it? You got to buy a car. They owe me a car. They know the score.
There'll be a few
so
cars.
If they make it big, they owe me a car. That's the deal.
Stuff, man. Is this your full-time job? Is this what you do for a living?
Oh, no, I wish. I'm actually a school teacher, funnily enough. I teach at a school in Rottenstall for kids with behaviour problems. So that's my full-time job. This is my part-time job.
So Ellis, we've just seen the first half of when you went down to Predator's Gym in Blackburn. How'd you find it?
It was kind of inspiring actually, because that guy has got the respect of every single person in that gym. There was kids from the age of 15, he said they start, up until you saw the guy there, he was 50. And everyone just, when he's talking, people be quiet because he has the aura about him. And he's got 2 degrees, that guy. He's got a full-time job and he goes there on a night, every single night of the week. He's got kids who go there 7 times a week, like every single night.
Oh wow.
And there's nobody slacking in the corners or anything. When you're there, you're training and you're sweating.
So it really beats the stereotype then?
Yeah, big time. Like you said there, it was just all technique. What Danny's going to show us later on, it's not about brute strength and just beating people up like you think it is. It's just all about getting in the right position and trying to do things like the minimal amount of force, actually.
Great.
So we've got Danny here from Predator's Gym today. You're going to show us some moves, aren't you, Danny?
Yeah. First one I'm going to show you the standard arm bar.
Brilliant. Oh, while you're setting up, Amy's going to read the obligatory safety warnings for everyone.
Yeah. So the warning for the following moves are being performed by trained professionals in the strictest possible safety conditions. Accordingly, ESPN and the producers of the show must insist that no one attempt to recreate or reenact any stunt or activity performed in this segment.
Right, so where are you starting, Danny?
Just making sure I've got the high mount position for this move, which is to be seated on the chest. I'll just demonstrate now. If you're any lower, a lower mount, Ellis could buck me off quite easily, which isn't going to complete the move. So what I need to do is I need to make sure for the first instance I'm on the high mount, which is seated on his chest. If he tries to buck me off now, the weight's in my favour and I can do what I want. So what you're going to be doing in this position, obviously if your opponent's face is exposed, you can be doing strikes, but if he does guard his face, this is where this move comes in handy.
Okay.
So the first step is to grip the tricep from the inside arm, and then with your other free arm, push the face away, and then for the third step, you need to swing your right leg round, grab hold, lock the legs so that it can't go anywhere. If Ellis tries to move this arm now, I've got complete control of it. Grab the inside of the palm and angle your hips in the direction of you're pointing away from you, and drag the arm down in the opposite direction, forcing your opponent to tap.
Now, would this move usually win you the match?
Well, it can do. Like I say, it depends what point it comes in the match. Just let Ellis get up. If it's towards the end of a bout and your opponent's fatigued, he's not going to have that strength in his arm to keep you off. And it just depends about your will and how strong you're putting much tension on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So are you going to show us this in motion then?
Yeah, we can do. It's as simple as that.
Right, lovely. And you've got another move, have you?
Yes, for the next move we're going to do the guillotine, which is more of a counter-attack. So if Ellis shoots for the takedown, comes, gets his arm stuck, and then I just slot my arm under there, under his chin.
Right.
Grip with my hands, pull up, put a bit of pressure on the choke so that it distracts him. I'm going to fall back now. You ready, Ellis?
Yep.
Fall back onto your back and wrap your legs round, clutch them together and pull and push with your hips, forcing your opponent to tap.
Wow, that seems...
How did you feel in that position, Ellis?
It really hurt. But no, obviously it's taking it easy. But yeah, it's just all about applying that last bit of pressure. So the actual position didn't hurt, but it's when not all your hips in it.
Yeah, it's the technique more than anything. The pressure points, that's where you get the opponent to tap. It's not about strength, it's just about your positioning, where you're putting your weight and stuff.
So if you get the technique wrong, that's where it goes wrong.
Yeah, and that's where you can leave yourself open for a counter-attack on yourself, so you need to make sure that your technique is spot on.
Right.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Danny. And after the break, we'll have a second part of Ellis's trip to Predators and our predictions for the UFC 159. A special thanks to Danny and Ellis for a very interesting demonstration. Before we move on to the final part of our show, let's have a look at the second part of Ellis's trip to Predators in Blackburn.
I'm here now with Chris and Joe, two of the most promising young fighters from the gym. So how did you get into it, Chris?
I first took a liking to MMA when I was at school. Well, when you was good at school, you got to go on an option on a Friday, and going to the MMA gym was a part of this scheme. And the head of science at my school, Rob Freeman, who's now my full-time coach, used to take me on a Friday and take me through submissions and boxing, bag work, and it just like expanded from there, now to training full-time.
Yeah, Joe?
I first started Thai boxing when I was 14, and I carried it on until I was 16. And one of my coaches, Rob Freeman's mate, come to my gym, Dave Bridges it was, and he just basically told me, he should come down, he got talent. So I comes down and I met Rob, and they just went from then on, really.
So have you got some things coming up, or?
I've got a title fight, hopefully. I don't know who I'm fighting yet. Cage conflict on the 18th of May.
Good, where's that?
In Manchester.
Check that out. So where do you see yourself in 5-10 years time? Where do you want to be, Joe?
Hopefully the UFC, man. That's everyone wants to be who does MMA. Do you know what I mean?
Chris, same for you?
Yeah, hopefully turn pro, when I feel ready, and then hopefully progress to the UFC and make it for a belt on that show.
Good stuff, man. Well, watch this space for these two, and back to the studio.
It's everyone's favourite part of the show. It's analysis and predictions time.
Now, tomorrow night, UFC 159 will take place in Newark, New Jersey, and we will be making our own predictions on the 4 bouts.
Firstly, we have Roy Nelson versus Czech Congo, 2 talented heavyweights going at it. Nathan, I think I'm going to go with Roy Nelson. He might be the underdog, but he looks really good in training.
Well, it's going to be a brutal heavyweight battle, but I'm going to have to go for Congo. I mean, the guy's absolutely massive, and I don't think he's lost many matches. It's an easy win, in my opinion.
Well, the UFC has its 3rd women's bout as Olympian Sarah McMahon and fellow bantamweight Sheila Gaff meet on Saturday. I think that McMahon is going to take it. Look at her, she's all in black, she looks really dangerous.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. I mean, she's been unbeaten in the UFC, and I can't see her losing that record in this fight.
And now to the main event, John Jones versus Chael Sonnen. Jones looks unstoppable and is the current light heavyweight champion. I think this is a mismatch and Jones will stop Sonnen in the 2nd round. What do you think?
You make a fair point, but I'm going to go with Sonnen. I think he's definitely going to beat Jones in this one.
And finally, on to our feature fight, Michael Bisping versus Alan Belcher. There's been a lot of beef between these two recently, most notably on YouTube, where both fighters have posted videos waging bets against one another. Let's have a quick look at what they've been saying.
Worth $300,000 car. If you knock my man out, we got the slips. I'm sure you got something to that value, so you put your slips up to whatever tickles my fancy, and I put the phantom up. If you knock my man in the 1st round, it's yours. Word is bond now, Mr. Bisbean.
Fiat 500 lounge convertible, red leather, pearl white, navigation, Bose sound system. What else do you want? And on top of it off, nobody's rolling this in the Dirty South right now with those 14-inch rims. What do you think?
I think this could work.
Let's try it out. You mind if I throw one more thing in?
Throw it in.
My man's son here plays on a flag football team, Gilberry. Since you're a big, NFL superstar, quote unquote, we're looking for a little extra talent. So why don't you come out, if my boy knocks your boy out, you come out, you play the whole game. No water break unless you get a sack. Sack, oranges and water on me at the halftime. See you then.
All right, now we've got that out of the way. Realise how stupid you look, Belcher?
Bisping has never lost 2 in a row and is looking very good, so I'm confident that he's going to take this one.
I have to agree with you here. I think Bisping will win it easily. This is going to be a war. This is bigger than a fight. It's bigger than the rankings. It's about respect. It's definitely going to go down on Saturday night.
Well, this has been UK MMA Weekly. Join us again same time next week where we'll be reviewing UFC 159. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.